I planned the trip and then I found out there was a permit system. So I tried using it, but it required my rental car's license plate. So I had to wait until I got there. When I got my car, I entered everything into the system, which should match my passport information, which they have already because I got the e-visa before, but they said there was no match. So it was a glitch no matter how much I tried. I was supposed to stay in Baku half a day, see the city, then the next morning drive to Karabakh, 6 hours, stay the night there, spend plenty of time, talk with locals, see all the sights. But instead, I had to stay an extra day in Baku.
And I needed to fill in my rental car information, but when I arrived, the website was full of glitches and ultimately didn't work. In full panic mode right now, I had to completely upend my plans and was able to frantically find a less than ideal last-minute group tour.
And then my last day in the country was a full day tour, 16 hours from the morning, and then come back to Baku at 11 p.m. and then flying out. So it was a very interesting journey. I'm glad that I didn't quit because I was very nervous, but thankfully there was still the group tour, so I was able to visit.
To worry about my phone's battery for the next 16 hours, a true first world millennial problem, until we get to Agdam, the border of Karabakh, where they check our passports and our travel permits, which are needed to monitor our movement in the area due to remaining landmines from the war. Now, to travel to Artsakh in the past, you can travel freely from Armenia for domestic residents, and for foreign travelers, there was a passport checkpoint. And now the border between Armenia and the former Artsakh is completely closed and militarized. If you're Armenian or have any passport stamps visiting Nagorno-karabakh, then you are banned from entering Azerbaijan.
We passed through Agdam. That was our first entry point into the area. We saw all the staggering developing that they were doing. Agdam was just so vast. How much money they were spending on this because they were building a new city of 100,000 people. So I got to see that size. But then as soon as you enter into the real, previously inhabited areas of Askaran and Khojali, it was just a ghost town. There were very few people living from what I could see, and I think they are the construction workers.
Very fluent in English, she gave us the history rundown of Armenian people in the land, but then quickly shifted to negative connotations all throughout the tour, every time calling them the illegal, illegitimate government, squatters, and when we tried to counter and step in with our history, there was no changing the bias and the brainwashing. The Azeris want everything Armenian gone.
Stepanakert, a little more people, but overall, percentage-wise, proportionally, it was very empty. There are still people on the streets, and I still see people living in very old and dilapidated buildings. It overall was just a ghost town, very eerie and creepy, seeing so many deserted buildings, some that were damaged, some also intentionally because they don't want, other people to come and live in it. So it was a very scary feeling for me.
I wanted to see the main cultural icon here, which was the church, but they kept shutting us down, drove around it, which made me suspicious about what they're doing to it.
I thought at least maybe I can see the main cathedral in the center, but we were not able to see it even from a distance. I don't know where it was, but I didn't see anything. Even in Shusha, there's the famous white cathedral. I did not see that. The only thing that we were able to see was where the former Renaissance Square was. That's what I wanted to see the most, was the Parliament building. I was shocked that it was no longer there.
And here, a moment of shock. This was supposed to be what I wanted to see most on this tour. I had no idea, and it is completely unrecognizable.
Actually, our left side was where they have built the Parliament building of the fake government.
The monument itself, I instantly felt that this was used for state propaganda. I went in very objectively, and I really wanted to see that Azerbaijan was doing well to preserve, the culture, to respect that. At least, historically, factually, Armenians were the majority here, and yes, there were Azeris and Kurds living there. So let's preserve all of it as a government that's truly tolerant of culture and religion. But my first impression when I got there, that's the welcome to Artsakh moment. But there are like 10 flagpoles at the entrance of the parking lot. And then when you get to the monument from a distance, it looks exactly like the picture. But then when you get close to it, Every place that you can reach has been vandalized with graffiti. And that was really, really sad.
City of Stepanakert, now called Khankendi. It was originally called Vararakin. According to Armenian sources, settled in the 10th century. In 1847, after the Russian Empire took over, there were 132 households, 80 of which were Armenians, the rest were Russian. Arrived at a restaurant, seemed pretty nice. I'm not going to show you the food, but I ordered two things, and I told them, hey, it's going to be the kebab and the beef. So I said two, right? And then when the receipt came, there were 4 items on there. I don't know what it was. Didn't try to explain, just told me, hey, that's the amount. So I didn't know what it was. I was holding up the whole tour group, so I ended up paying. I didn't want to fight, but there's something really wrong with the people here.